All righty.
Awesome. How's it going?
I'm alive. How's it going with you?
Yeah, same. I seem to be alive. So, yeah.
Okay. Seem. This is
See,
the key question there. Yeah, the key
right.
word. Oh my God.
Well,
Anyway, let's power on so I can give you whatever I can give you, because time is short.
I know, right? Yeah, all good. So the album Jude comes out September 9th. Looking back 10 years ago, this album may not have been made, right? I mean, apparently after everything changes, why did you think Everything Changes might be your last?
Because I'd been in the business for 30 years, and it had been even as an independent artist, it had been a real struggle. I mean, I got on with the work, but I just felt nobody really got to hear it. Without a label behind you and proper support and sponsorship, etc., you just don't get seen and you don't get heard. It's that simple. And so with the last album, Everything Changes. I did photography, photographs for every song on the album. I did a documentary. The list goes on. And I just thought, well, if I don't come back to this, I'll be happy with that as my last foray into music. Because I wanted to get on with some other stuff before it was too late, I'd fallen in love with fine art photography, and I'd been doing that while I was on several trips with my foundation, the White Feather Foundation. So I'd been building up collections on that, regarding that. I've been involved in quite a few documentaries. I love being involved in documentaries. I think they're one of the better ways of getting any kind of message across without shoving things down people's throats. And, Kiss the Ground, which is the last one I exec produced on Netflix, that's turned into a platform around the world where they're really trying to make change. So for me, that's a good way forward, and I love being behind the scenes. And the last thing I did was the children's books, of course,
right.
The trilogy, which again was about parents and children starting a conversation about the problems that we face. It's sitting there with your grandparents or your mother at nap time, and reading through the books and just going, well, why is the plastic in the sea? Why don't these people have water? It's engaging them in that conversation. So I wanted to get on with that kind of stuff and do all of the other things that I love. And I also liked being behind the camera. That's what I enjoyed about most, is that I could get on with a lot of different work and a lot of different mediums with just, thank you, and having a life. Having a life outside of that. So it was a real concern, the idea of going, do I really want to get back into the music scene? Because I really haven't enjoyed it that much. It's I didn't have great relationships with labels, certainly didn't have great relationships with management. That's why I was kind of micromanaging myself for 20 years. But lo and behold, in the last few years, I found a label I adore. I found a manager that I could not live without now, and a team around me that I've never had this kind of support before. So this kind of lets me get on with just being the creative. I still have to be there for the overall final decisions, but at least I have this around me again, which I never had before. And so it's a different world for me. It's and also, back in the day, relationships with the label and management, you were kind of schooled, you were told what to do. Now it's much more of a partnership. It's working together to achieve the end goals, so it's a different cup of tea.
And you kind of got into it in a weird way for artists, in my opinion. So most artists grow and develop over time. All of them do. And so to go back and listen to something from 30 years ago that you wrote, a lot of times people would cringe at that idea, but really that was kind of a catalyst for this record.
Yeah. Well, yeah. My business manager was retiring. He sent all these boxes over, and it was mostly horrible paperwork about money and debt. And so, but there were a few boxes of different formatted tapes. I mean, the original reel-to-reel of Too Late for Goodbyes, For Lot, all these demos, but all these other formatted tapes. And And I was curious. I'm going, well, I want to know what this stuff is. I mean, some of it was labeled. And so we put it through a process called baking, which is where it saves whatever information or music is on those tapes, and they convert it to digital. And then I brought the stuff up on faders, and the first song I heard was Every Little Moment. And I'm going, this sounds like I recorded it last week. It was that good. It was that together. And I'm going, wow, a little bit of work on this could be a bit of fun. So so there were quite a few tracks on this album that I still liked or loved when I wrote them back then, but they just didn't have a home. They didn't fit on the album I was doing at the time or another musical project. So I thought, well, why not? I never thought I'd do an album, but I thought I'd maybe do a couple of singles or a couple of EPs. Less pressure that way. But as time went on, and as I started putting these songs together, once I got to 8, 9, 10, I went, oh, it's kind of an album. So, and that was it. So I figured, this stuff I was happy with the material. I was proud of the material. So I went, you know what? I've got the right people next to me this time around. Let's give it a shot,
Yeah, well, it's great stuff. Lucky Ones were playing a ton.
Thank you.
Yeah, as well. So it's good stuff. Hey, really quick, I know we're out of time.
Sure.
Get Back. The world's reaction to that was incredible. I mean, I remember that's one of the few things that I just could not stop watching. And we devoted a whole day or two to watching it. What was your reaction? Was a lot of that, was any of that new to you? Or
yeah. I hadn't seen any of that. I'd seen nothing. No, I tell you what was really good, very briefly, was that I saw a very different version than everybody else. The premiere that I went to with Sean was 100 minutes long, and the first half of it was interjected with little commentary and comedy bits by Peter Jackson, which put all of us at ease. It really did, because we didn't know what we were going to see. I mean, I wasn't going to go, but he really put us at ease, and then allowed us to just watch and enjoy the whole the film. And I loved it. I have to say, I loved it. And I loved the shorter version, I must add. I know people want to see every little detail, but for me, as a story, the shorter version that I saw was great. I fell in love with Dad again, because I saw him the way he used to be, the way I knew him as a kid, where he was goofy, he was cynical, he was being a smart ass. The relationship, how talented they all were and how they pulled it together at the last. I mean, it was mind blowing seeing what they were capable of doing. So yeah, I mean, I fell in love with them, but Dad especially too. During that whole process of watching that film, blown away, absolutely blown away. I'm thankful that Peter Jackson managed to get through that, because that was quite special.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible. Julian Lennon, thank you so much, man. This was a pleasure, and the album's great. Everybody go get it. September it comes out. Jude, there's so much more to talk about, but
short and sweet, as they say, short and sweet.
There you go, man. Take care.
Thank you, Will. Cheers.